Hello, everyone. Tonight, we're talking Married at First Sight Atlanta, Season 12, Episode 5. Last night was magic. Tonight, all of the couples are still celebrating their honeymoons in Las Vegas. And we're going to start straight off from the beginning and jump into the opening scene with Chris and Paige. Chris is talking with the producers, saying he's got a secret and he doesn't want to tell it.
Well, they already know it too. So they know how big the secret is.
I should say he has a secret and he doesn't want to tell Paige. And the producers are urging Chris to tell Paige. It's a pretty big deal. And he's like, I don't want to tell her. I do not want to tell her.
Not only does he not want to tell her, but then he tells her that it's a big deal, but I don't want to tell you.
Right. He sat her down and said there was something serious going on, but you can't know.
No. But then
So
she pleads with him and is like, I'm your wife. Please tell me. He tells her and takes her in a room. I'm not sure what he tells her, but he makes her turn the water on and take off her mic. And he tells her, and she leaves.
They were in the bathroom. He turned on the shower, turned on the faucet, said, take your mic. He said something for like 2 minutes. He came out all sweaty. I don't know if you saw his shirt and his underarms, but it was all sweaty and gross. Yeah. And he's like, oh, she needs a little time to herself, and then just left her in there. Like, I doubt he even waited to console her or anything. He was just like, yeah, I got a baby on the way. My ex is 6 weeks pregnant, and
no, he didn't tell her how far along it was. She had to ask later how far along the girl was. Then she leaves out and goes to talk to Brianna. And I feel like they're dimming everybody else's situation with their bullshit. Like, so she goes and tells Brianna all the stuff that's going on. And, Brianna's like, I feel like they were all being too nice. I would have been like, girl, you need to go. I would be pissed. But they were all just trying to make her feel better and just trying to encourage whatever she wanted to do. They would be there for her. I don't know. I think she should have told her to run.
Brianna said it would be okay for her to leave. She told her to go. She said, you should go. Like, I wouldn't stay. And I think was under the impression that she probably wasn't going to stay around until she saw them together at the dinner later on. But meanwhile, Brianna and Paige are meeting. Chris and Vincent
are meeting, yeah.
They're meeting, talking about the problem. And he straight up lets them know what's going on. My ex is pregnant. Vincent's pretty shocked, as we all are.
She did tell her to leave. I must have missed that. I swear she was like, I didn't want to tell her, like, get into it too much. All right, I need to watch that again.
That's all good. I saw that part. I saw Jet Jones, don't you? She said to go. But, either way, that's where they are. They're having their lunches, and then we skip on over.
But anyway, he's like, I feel like, okay, now he's talking to Vincent, and he's saying, like, what's going on? And Vincent's like, shit. What are you going to do, dude? Like, you signed up for this. And I don't know, a part of me feels like, again, he ruined their time with their BS. But skip fast forward. And so he comes back, and Brianna's in the room, and he's like, Daddy's home. And they talk about, what happened between Chris and Paige.
You're talking about Brianna
and Vincent. Yeah, he comes together back in, and he's like, Daddy's home. And it was really cute. Anyway, I really wanted to point out between them, because now we're talking about Vincent and Brianna, that the situation with his grandmom is okay, that she's doing all right, and that he reveals to her that made him feel so comfortable to be able to open up. And I don't know, I'm just loving their vibes together.
They were so comfortable, and they opened up, and they grew so close that they were able to be intimate with each other. They were both glowing. They talked about that later on at the dinner, and we'll get into that, about how his gesture and his attitude, everybody was like, oh, you guys, you got it in. I don't know if you caught that later on, but we'll
everybody
talk about
that
in a minute.
Yeah, everybody could tell. Definitely. Mm-hmm. All right, who's next?
Well, I want to go into the 80s guy. And I always forget his name because he's just never that memorable to me. But I do know that on their way over to dinner, they were watching the Goonies movie.
He felt that was very fitting. I feel like situations between them, they were talking a little bit more easier They
I
were flowing a little better.
I feel like she's being very kind to him and trying to be open, but he is so odd and a little self-absorbed. But they are being more, I guess, affectionate to each other. They're not very standoffish with each other. Like I noticed they were, sitting down and he had his arm around her and all of that. But I
She's
don't
definitely
know.
trying harder.
I think so. I
She's
saw her
definitely
warming
trying
up
harder to
on the
like him,
last
but I'm telling
episode.
you, she don't like him.
No,
I can
I don't
tell.
think she does either, but I think she's just trying to hang in there. It could be worse. He could have a baby on the way.
Ooh.
So,
All right.
um, let's see. We've got Brianna, Vincent, Virginia, and Eric. So they're going on. She's still drinking from morning to night. She's in Vegas
They
though.
are in Vegas.
You're gonna give her a hard time, but they are in Vegas. They are on their honeymoon. I'd be all in drinking too. She does convince him to do some shots at the bar side, and then they start to get into the conversation about their future lives and about how you feel having friends with the other sex.
Opposite sex. He's a little bit jelly.
Well, I don't know.
That's the vibe I'm getting a little bit of.
But I think a little healthy jealousy, like he said, is kind of a good thing. Like you do want somebody to be like,
a
that's my
little bit. I want
girl,
him to
and
care.
just a little bit to care, but not to be so crazy. But if I could see if maybe he's, on a flight somewhere, taking a plane, and he's going to be gone for a few days, I would feel a little uneasy if she's going hanging out with her guy friends at the bar every night while I'm out working. You know what I mean? Like that would
Yeah,
just
I
be a
wouldn't
little
think it was cool
odd.
either. But then again, like the whole bar scene, but he's choosing to like be cool with that.
Well,
But
I
she
just
told
been
him she has a lot of guy friends. I guess it's up to her whether or not she's gonna let him go.
But I think it'd be cool if it were a group of friends going. But if it's like a group of
A
five
group of
guys
guys and
friends
she's one
going, that's
girl.
what I mean. And she's always hanging out with him. I feel like that would be a problem. Like I feel like he said, let's check out the situation, but know that there has to be some boundaries. So I like that. I feel like they're both being honest with each other and letting them know this is how they are, and they're kind of compromising to find their way through it.
I don't know though. It may be a little bit of a red flag.
Oh, I'm not
We'll
worried.
see. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but I think
No.
he's a little
He
jealous.
he does talk about her tardiness, saying that she's always late to everything and he can never be late to a flight because the whole plane wouldn't be able to leave. But I feel her. I'm late too. That's why we were late tonight.
Yeah, I know. We're always
It's
late.
always my fault.
All right.
But the fact that they were late, all of the couples got together at the dinner. And Virginia and Eric were late, so they missed a huge important conversation that had to be talked about twice. So while all the couples were together, they were sitting down asking, how are you feeling your other person? Do you think that it was a good match? And they go around the table.
And it makes me feel awkward just watching it because that Paige and Chris are sitting there and everybody else is vibing. He's crying over in the corner because he feels so out of place. But he tells everyone what happens first before he goes to cry in the corner, and then reveals that he feels everyone supporting her and not him. He's a big crybaby, dude.
Selfish to a T. Yes, around the table, and he ran out crying, saying everybody's asking Paige how she's doing, how's she feeling, and they're saying that they're going to be there for her. But what about me? What about you, Chris? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So, and we forgot to mention the couple that I forgot their names. They were wearing matching outfits and said that they can match all the time, and they went to pet the dolphins. It's a couple that you love with the slick back
Clara
hair.
and Ryan.
Clara and Ryan, they're also feeling each other, vibing. So when they were all together, meshing, they were sitting closely, saying that they're getting along really well. They seem to talk about their parents' relationship a lot and what type of expectations they want to get from it because of their parents.
Yeah, they're jumping the gun, I think, a little bit too soon, though. Like I was telling you last time, she's creating some issues, and when there really is none.
I don't think so. I don't see that. I think they're doing
Okay.
good, and they're talking about important things that you should talk about moving forward. You only got a small time to know if you're going to marry this person or not, or stay married or not.
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
Back to the dinner table, they're all going around. Everyone's pretty shocked, to hear this pregnancy news, as we mentioned. And here comes Eric and Virginia rolling in late because Virginia was late. And apparently everybody knows that Virginia's late already all the time. which I didn't know that they were around that many events together to know that, but they've definitely got the feeling. And they didn't know what was going on, so they come in all happy and giddy, and they're loving each other. And meanwhile, this bomb just dropped around everybody about the baby, and they sit down. They're like, "Well, has anybody gotten intimate with each other?" And that's like an awkward question right after talking about the baby. And then Chris mentions, "I've got a baby," and Virginia looks at him and says, "Are you sure it's yours?" And that offended him. And then Eric started going in on him saying, "Well, what you need to do is, if this is your wife, then you need to put her your first priority," and blah, 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 blah. I don't know if I necessarily agree with all of that. You've got a baby mama that you were just engaged with, supposedly,
Right.
were with for a while, had a big video come out about the Bonefish Grill and your engagement party, and now she's got your baby. That might be a little bit more of a priority than a lady that you just met. However, if you're choosing to stay with her, then you do need to try to make her, I guess, important. I don't even know what the
Yeah.
point of it is anymore, honestly. But either
I don't
way.
know what the point of the going through the motions thing is, like I said, because I feel like they're ruining everyone else's time. Is ruining our enjoyment of the show. I know for me, I wanted to see them mesh and have fun at, eating, not deal with Chris's problems.
Well, Chris he still has more problems coming because he doesn't like the question that Virginia asked or the way that Eric talked to him and thought they were both very disrespectful to him. And I think that's going to bring more drama coming up in this next
We see them
episode.
fighting. We see them fighting somewhere in the season. So it's, yeah. I thought it was going to
Yes.
be then.
They start arguing, and then Vincent comes in supposedly to slam Chris against the wall. And we all want to slam him to the wall. So we're all going to be cheering, saying, "Punch him." No, I'm just kidding.
I cannot wait. But let me just say this. So let's get to the Chris and Paige thing.
Okay.
When he didn't want to tell her, I just thought he was a scum bucket. But even more. But then they go out, and why is he trying to convince her that he's into her? Stay with me. I'm into you. Like, he wants everybody at home to believe he's a good guy. And I think that he's thinking in his brain that she's going to leave me. There's no way she's going to stay with me, and I'm going to be off the hook. I feel like there could be two things about this. I feel like, one, there may not even be a situation. Maybe he made it up just to get out of things. Or if there is a situation, maybe he wants to go to it and he just wants her to say bye. And by her hanging on, it's causing him a problem. But I don't think he's realizing that, you're making her want to stay with schmoozing and BSing her. I mean, I'm so into you now. I find you very attractive. The experts did a great job. I would never say nothing bad about you because you're so sweet.
Chris is the
She
worst.
is sweet because I would have punched him in the throat by now. But
Sweet or naive? Or is she just sticking around so that way she can continue out her experience? And she better move out. Like, not sleep in the same room with him or move into the hotel room next door or something while they're supposedly working out. But I don't think she's going to.
That's what I feel like. I feel like everybody's question is, why is she staying? Why is she entertaining what he has to say? And I know she's saying that he's a God-fearing man and she thinks that God has a plan. But, girl, this is not God's plan. You need to run away from him. It's ridiculous to even go through it. I feel like she's making it worse on herself. Anyway, we don't know everything that goes down. I hope that she gets the hell out of there. But he was crying later on. And he says that it's because he feels stuck and he has a baby on the way.
And his whole life is crashing around him. And meanwhile, his
subway
is shutting down.
Stuck.
Yeah, I know.
Stuck is not someone that wants to stay in a marriage with her.
And what
Stuck is somebody that's like, damn it, girl, why don't you leave?
And he kept calling the baby devastating news. Was it devastating?
Yes.
Yes. And a baby is not devastating. They're always a blessing. So he needs to do better with his words. That's it.
He's devastating
that's all.
news. But you know what? It doesn't even really matter. Like, I hope that next week or whatever, can she just hit him just once? That would be really cool. I would love it.
I have a question for you. What did you think about the 80s guy eating that raw onion?
Ew.
Did you see that? He was eating, it wasn't like even like a slither.
I didn't see
it was
Brianna
a big
telling
hunk.
her to leave, and I didn't see him eating that onion. I need to go back and check this episode out. I'm missing some stuff.
It's because it was kind of boring. That was the only thing that was like, ugh. And then he said, "Then I'm going to kiss you after." And she said, "No, you're not." And then that was it. All right. Well,
Thanks
I'm
a lot.
looking. No
The best thing
problem.
about he watched the Goonies. Are you serious? She was like, who?
I know. Who doesn't know the Goonies?
Her.
Okay. I have a lot of problems talking, I guess, with people at her age with movies that we used to know. Like, they haven't even seen The Shining and shit like that. And
No.
I'm like,
No. She's too young
okay.
for you, bro.
Yes.
That's what I feel like. All right. Well, I mean, I don't know about them. I feel like, I hope that she runs. I'm gonna end it with I blame the experts. They knew he was a dirtbag. Sorry, I'm sticking by that.
Okay.
Go
Well,
Vincent and Brianna and Clara and Ryan and
Virginia and
Eric and
Eric.
Virginia. Yeah, and that's it.
And we know
That's
the
all I got.
80s guy and the other chick's not going to work out. All right,
You
everybody.
think that? Because, I don't know. I don't think
They're
so
not.
either. All right.
Well, be sure to check us out on all of our social media, Mom's Talking Shit podcast, and at our website, momstalkingshit.com. Thank you for joining us tonight, and be sure to leave your comments about what you think from the latest episode. See you next week.
See ya.